everyone, I'm Caitlin James from Scalp MicroPigmentation Australia, and welcome to another 5-minute fast facts on Scalp MicroPigmentation Pro Artist Series, where we're interviewing some amazing scalp micropigmentation artists from around the world, getting their tips and tricks on how you can get the best out of your scalp micropigmentation transformation. Our guest today lives in one of the most beautiful locations in the world. It's hot and sunny for most of the year. He joined our industry hopping off of his island in 2015 to start his new career, and fell in love with the art of scalp micropigmentation when he went to train with Matt Ayulo from Scalp Micro USA. He was a finalist every year at the Team Micro Awards, and he won the 2-hour Melon Challenge at the IPCS conference run by Gaston and Stevie G. He has an amazing story to tell about overcoming 3 major business interruptions since he began his career in SMP in 2015. He is extremely resilient artist. It's Carlos Montes from Scalp Clinic PR in Puerto Rico. Welcome, Carlos.
Hey, how you doing, Caitlin?
Good, I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about your background, because no one would believe how much you've had to overcome since 2015 with your business, and what you've had to come back from. So just give us an overview of, I guess, why you decided to join sort of the industry of scalp micropigmentation, and then go through your amazing story of what has happened since you began.
All right, yeah. So I think like many of our male artists, I started basically searching for solutions for my own hair loss problems. When I was 25, I went through a hair transplant, left me with a scar, and it was not a good result back then. So I had to keep my hair long to cover the scar, and basically I was looking for ways that I could, shave my head and cover the scar so it wouldn't be so visible. And that's when I started searching, scar concealment, scar camouflage, and that's when scalp micropigmentation showed up. And, I immediately was amazed that, that actually existed. So I started doing the research. I flew to Canada to get the procedure done first. And then I decided to, that I wanted to train, and I wanted to bring this back to Puerto Rico and have it more available to more people. Because like many, I struggled with everything. I did the hair transplant. I did the topic, the powders. I took the pills. I did the Rogaine. Nothing worked. So I felt this was just a perfect solution for somebody who wants to, solve this issue right away. So I trained back in 2015. I did a little bit more training in 2016. And then I launched, Scalp Clinic Puerto Rico. And I started part-time. I actually had a full-time job at a factory here in Puerto Rico. And but I fell in love with the procedure. I loved doing it. I loved the reaction from the people. So as demand started getting better, in 2015, I decided to quit my job and do scalp micropigmentation full-time. And of course, late, September 2017, we get hit with the hurricane, and we're forced to shut down. There's no communication, absolutely nothing, no internet, no phones for several weeks. So you lose touch with your clients. But at the very least, working in supply chain before, knowing that if a line goes down, you need to make it up. You need to have some kind of contingency plan for things like this. Thankfully, where I had my clinic, that was a big selling point when I was searching for a location. They had big industrial generator, for backup power. So even when the entire island was without electricity, we, had electricity. It was, they would turn it on for a short period of time. But, at 3 weeks, once, you're able to reach the clients, I was able to go back to work. Yeah. So that helped a lot. Then this year has probably been the worst. We actually got hit by a number of earthquakes, which, it's a first in 100 years, but it was, we got hit with 2 pretty strong earthquakes, and then a lot of, the tremors that follow. And we're a small island, they're mostly on the south, which is probably about 30, 40 miles from where my clinic is, but it would still affect us, especially the economy here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then now, of course, we have this where, we're forced to shut down. We're forced to stay inside. Thankfully, we still have the communication part, so we can still do things like this, and put out content, and we can communicate with people. So,
Yeah.
um, it's been a few things in a row, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Who would have thought? Like that's
Yeah, right.
so much has happened in such a short time for you. Yeah.
Right.
All right, well, let's jump into our first question. So when a client comes through the door for treatment, sometimes they're worried about things like we've just talked about, like perhaps a practitioner stopping work, or maybe their practitioner might move away interstate overseas, or perhaps a natural disaster like yourself. How do you manage to reassure clients during this time and come back from disaster?
Yeah, I mean, I always, it helps that I've been doing it for a while, so they can see that the business is solid, that, I also it does help to have more than one technician. So I actually have somebody who's been working with me for a little bit, that I've been, an apprentice type of deal. So at least they know that, if anything were to happen to me, hopefully not, but, they have another practitioner, and just try to reassure them that, that this is what we do, we love what we do, and we plan on being in business for a while.
Yeah, brilliant. And what does it mean for someone who has just started a treatment, perhaps just had their first session? What does it mean for that client, unfortunately, if they've had to stop treatment halfway through?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case for a few of my clients right now that actually left with the first session. I think the most important thing is just constant communication with them. So every week I touch base with them. I ask them how their treatment is healing. Everything is fine. I let them know that as soon as we can get back to work, that that they're gonna be first in line.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's unfortunate because they're kind of walking around with just the beginning. But I reassure them that I'm here, that I don't have any plans of closing my business or anything, that we're okay, and that we'll be back soon. The most important thing right now is just, staying safe, right?
Yeah. And even when they have the first session, it is a gradual process creating scalp pigmentation. So it's not like they'll be half complete. We always complete the whole area, but it's one of 1, 2, or 3 or 4 layers, depending on how the practitioner works. So it will just be the beginning of a transformation that they would be left with. And I think you made a really great point where constant communication is so important to make sure that they understand that you're, really feeling for them only, just in the beginning, because it's quite exciting for clients as well. In the beginning, they're so excited to get this treatment done and want to get their work completed. But, as soon as we're able to work again, and as soon as you've been able to work in the past, that the clients know that you're there for them and ready to go.
Yeah, and they love. I mean, they love, even one session looks great and it's a massive improvement. So they just kind of, they want to get it done. They want to finish. It's like, oh, I want to see the end, the final.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of keeping them, informed.
Yeah. And let's talk about the reverse. So if it's been a number of years since a client has had a procedure and maybe they have moved overseas or to a new location too far away from their original practitioner, what would you suggest they do to help find themselves a good, safe artist to complete a redarkening for them?
So in the past, I've actually helped them. We know a lot of people around the world. So if I know of a good artist that is near them, then I would do the referral. If not, then they need to do the same type of research they did when they found me, right? They have to make sure that it's a reputable business, that they've been in business for a while, they have a good portfolio. They should go in and do a consultation, get all the information they can from them, and try to choose. And I would help them. If they have any questions or anything, I will help them.
Yeah, definitely. I agree there. I think we all have a clue of who's good and reputable and ethical in this industry. So I think referral is a great option. What are some signs a client can look out for at a consultation that a practitioner may not be ethical or may be unprofessional?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the hardest things, because these days you can steal photographs from the internet and you can show them and pass them off as your own. I think you have to be really diligent when you go in. You have to make sure, they've been around for a little bit, that they have all the proper licensing. Um, that they have plenty of of work to show you. I mean, I know everybody has to start somewhere, but if they show you just a few pictures and you ask to see for more, then I mean that could be a red flag. And you could have also if they, I mean, this happens a lot here, believe it or not. People set up shop in their own house, and or they offer to go to your hotel room or your house and do it in your house. It's just not something that you can really do this way if you want to do it safely. So things like that should set off a red flag.
Yeah, excellent. And let's go back to photos as well, because lots of sort of beginning artists don't have a portfolio, and we do see a lot of photo pinching within the industry. What are some clues that you could perhaps tell a client to look out for, that maybe an artist is using photos that don't belong to them?
Well, I think if it's a digital, like if you go on their website or on their Facebook, you can right click on the picture and do a Google search for the image, and it would actually show up if it's in different websites. So that, I mean, right there, if you find it in another artist's website, then that's a red flag for me, and I would ask the artist, if that's really their work. But for me, I honestly think if you have an artist that's just starting out and the pictures look really good, like, high quality photographs, that's a red flag, because we know, like, we all started, most of us, our pictures were not that great, right, at the beginning. So you really have to, if the quality is too good for somebody who's just starting out, that's probably a red flag. You could also look for things in the background. Sometimes they don't remove, the logo of the company or the watermark, and it belongs to another company.
Yeah.
So I've actually seen that, but I mean, it's difficult because these days there's applications where you can really, edit photographs and, pass them off as your own. So I think most importantly is, things like reviews, customers commenting on on their post and social media and the background. So
Yeah.
and ask to see somebody in person. Say, hey, you know what? I do that. I have somebody in my office who actually works with me, and he does some sales and things like that on the streets. And he's got the procedure. And every time somebody wants to see somebody done, healed after months or years, then I have somebody to show them. And that's. I mean, this is some really. It goes in your head, and it's on there forever unless you want to get it off a laser. So it's important you do the full research.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You only really have one good chance to get this right. So it's worth spending the time doing your research and make a really good informed decision.
Mm-hmm.
What else can give confidence to clients in choosing the right kind of artist? So you did talk about reviews. What else should they look for when they turn up for a consultation?
I think the knowledge of the artist, come and prepare with some good questions, do your own research first, and then confirm, maybe what you already know or what you believe. You look around the place. If the place looks clean, hygiene, and everything, up to date. The business licensing is very important. If somebody's willing to cut corners on the licensing, then they'll probably cut corners on the procedure. For example, find out what type of licenses they need. Here in Puerto Rico, most people think you only need to have your tattoo artist license, but your studio also needs to be licensed, apart from a normal business license that all business licenses get. So, and that's very important, because with the studio tattoo license, they actually come in and they make sure important things are, like how you're disposing of your, used materials, and that everything is, you don't have anything that's expired. So, I mean, things like that are very important.
Yeah.
Right? It shows that this person has put a lot of effort into the business, and they plan on doing a good job and being around for a while. So.
Yeah. And also that they have the client safety and their own safety very front of mind. That's really important.
Right.
Yeah.
A good disclosure. I give all my clients a disclosure, and I mean, it also serves as a contract, but it's got a lot of information on there that they can read. I mean, if you go somewhere and they're willing to just start working on you right away without giving you the proper consultation, that's probably also a red flag.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. And last of all, what part of the scalp micropigmentation process is your absolute favorite?
Of the entire process? I mean, I actually love performing the procedures themselves, which is kind of hard when you're also running the business. I love, but those pictures, when you're taking the pictures at the end, once they get done, or when they walk in maybe for like a follow-up, and you can see the client's confidence through the roof, from the very first time they came in. I love watching them walking through the door and they, looking sharp and feeling good. I mean, that's probably the most rewarding part of this whole thing.
Yeah, they definitely come back with a bit of confidence, don't they?
Right.
They hold themselves differently.
Right. It's pretty amazing, that something like this can actually restore somebody to, their optimal, confidence and self-esteem. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having a chat with us today, Carlos. It's been wonderful. Hopefully something you've said here today might inspire someone to look further into this amazing hair loss solution that we have and that we all do. A big thank you to yourself, Carlos, for being on our 5-minute fast facts on Scalp Micropigmentation Pro Artist Series. I know many women and men out there are looking into this procedure, and hopefully someone in Puerto Rico finds you to do a nice little transformation for them. So thanks so much for being on the program.
Thank you for having me, Kaylin.
No
Hope you guys are staying safe and that we can get back to work very soon.
Absolutely. Cool. And if you have any questions or comments, we want to hear from you. So as always, don't be shy. Give us a call or an email. Pop something in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so that you stay up to date with our latest content. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
See you later, Kayla. Bye.